Now, if corn has messed up, right, your ability to be, up in attention, your man downstairs, and has kind of left you, either frustrated or anxious, especially in the bedroom. I've been there just like a lot of people have been there. And corn induced ED almost, right, ruin relationships for me, period. But there are four simple daily habits that can help you restore natural, strong, what I'm saying? You rot downstairs with no type of pills, no gimmicks, nothing like that. So let's get right into it, man. These are four habits. Number one, quitting the corn. Now, the reason why I say this is number one because a lot of times one of the most important things is just your dopamine receptors, right? So think about it like this: if you're watching TV all the time and on your phone all the time, and you're watching YouTube, you're watching movies, you're watching a lot of different stuff, what tends to happen there is that you don't enjoy it as much, right? It's not as special because, man, I mean, you get access to these things all the time. It's like a diamond, right? Certain diamonds or even gems, right, are more valued than others because of how rare they are, right? And in this case, when you think about it, man, the more, what I'm saying, corn that you're consuming through your eye gate, what happens is your receptors kind of get dull to that stimuli. And when, what I'm saying, you're in a situation with a real partner, what happens is you can't make it happen. And a lot of people, probably all men at any point in life, have experienced that, but that's kind of what happens and why it's super important to quit, right? And then it also just restores your sensitivity. So it'll bring things from basically you require this much stimuli to it goes lower and lower, and it's actually called I believe it's a superficial, or it's one of those stimuli. It's basically way higher than what normally it would be. It's like if you think about when you just go out in nature and you're just walking, that's a certain level of dopamine you get. But this is like an artificial stimuli where you get way more. And then that's the reason why people are getting hooked, right? Because it's like if you get exposed to something and it just puts off a ton of dopamine in your brain, you're going to be more likely to go back to it. And it just starts that entire cycle, right? So that's number one. You want to be in control of your brain, the dopamine that's going on. You want that to be at a baseline level. So super important, and it doesn't require really anything else besides you, right? So we're not talking anything else outside of you. And I'm someone who usually goes for the you know, natural solutions to this, right? Number two, sunlight. This is definitely an underrated one. A lot of times, if let's say you wake up in the morning and you go out in the sun, go outside first thing in the morning, before you grab the phone, before you're scrolling, before you're watching TV, one of the first things you do, and you notice a lot of times you just feel great when you come back inside. You feel like you got charged up, you have all that energy to you. And a lot of people don't realize, and some people do, is number one, your testosterone for sure. When you get outside first few minutes of the day when you wake up, it boosts. I don't know all the science behind it, but you can look it up. Don't trust every word I say. Go look it up and search for yourself. But your testosterone boosts when you get outside, right? And as humans, we're supposed to be outside. We're supposed to be getting sunlight. We're supposed to be in nature. And a lot of these things, right, our ancestors did a lot of. Sometimes, especially with the technology and all that, people are inside a lot more. So you're just not as you have a lot more reason to stay inside, especially because if your alarm is on your phone, what happens? You scroll out of bed, you wake up, you just start scrolling, you roll out of bed, excuse me, and then you just start scrolling on your phone. And it's right there and it's easy, but you don't want to do it. And also, too, the sun just improves a lot of things, like you being able to deal with stress, your cortisol levels, and even libido as well. The sunlight will boost that. So you have to make sure you're getting your sunlight. And also, it feels great when you're out there, especially early in the morning. Like it's a no-brainer, and it's something that's, again, should be relatively easy for anyone to do. And if you're telling me it's not easy, you're probably, and if you're able to get out there, you walk, you have no other issues, you're probably just being lazy, to be honest. All right, number three, hydration. Now that's one too where a lot of people, you get focused on a lot of different things, right? Whether it's you're working, and a lot of people, plenty of people have to improve on this one, including myself. I'm not always the best, but hydration is super important. Now you have multiple things that could hydrate you, but let's just stick with water. Make sure you're drinking enough water, right? Again, hydration enhances things like circulation, right? For strong, you get rock, and it's important because, man, hydration just keeps you healthy, keeps your body healthy. And there's multiple ways to hydrate, which kind of ties into the diet piece as well, right? Because you have diet, and diet is, and there's so many things, right, that you can eat for diet. People eat, well, at least in America, right? A lot of times you got burgers, fries, pizza. You have a lot of unhealthy things, right? And how things are marketed, especially as children, a lot of us have habits that probably we were raised on that is probably not great for us, right? So you have, sure, pizza, burgers, cereal. What else do they put on TV? I don't know, things like cookies, a lot of candy, and a lot of these, ultra processed foods, we can just call it that, and combine them all together. They really they're not conducive to your goals, if you know what I'm saying. They're not conducive to you being on point, like you're eating all of these things. It's almost like a fuel for a car, right? So you got two different, some cars can require a certain type of fuel, maybe premium. Other cars don't require as much fuel, but you need to figure out what type of fuel you need for your body to get the type of results you want. And when we talk about fuel, man, you should be eating, and this is as simple as I'll put it, eat for performance. That's something that was probably one of the best pieces of advice somebody gave me in my life, right? And that kind of changed things forever because it makes me think, okay, if I got to put on a performance, then what should I be consuming, right? Because you are what you eat. So always remember that you are what you eat. And, it's again, really important to eat for performance. It's probably a lot of you have never even heard of that before because you're so used to eating, the rice, the burgers, yeah, like all these things, but, just make things simple, easy on yourself, and you know what types of foods are good and bad. And obviously there's more nuance to it, but these are just high level points that you can think of when we talk about solving this problem, right? And lastly, I would say as well, when your body is on point, and I can almost guarantee you, and a lot of people might not say this, right? Because there's another thing in here where it's like the mental aspect, right? Where some people are kind of nervous or in their head when they go into that situation. And the thing with that is you really want to look at it like, okay, yes, you're going into that situation, but if your body is prepared, your body will follow. Like, I think a lot of times people kind of confuse, and even myself as I learn more and more about the topic, they confuse the body and the mind. Sure, the mind may have thoughts, but if your body is prepared, in my opinion, it doesn't even matter. Because once you get into that situation, your body is going to respond in terms of how you prepared it, right? Even if your thoughts are crazy. And a lot of you may find that hard to believe, but that's been my experience. That's kind of what I'm talking about. And of course, me helping other people as well. But when you prepare the body, the mind will follow, right? Your mind will get quiet in that scenario. So if you're dealing with, the corn-induced ED and you want to fix it for good, click the link below and book a free call, and let's see how I can help you, man. You don't have to do this on your own if you've been trying for a long time. Again, it took me a while to put all these pieces together, but I came to the conclusion that I really solved things for good. And, if you're interested, click the link, book a call, and let's see how I can help you. Peace.